Janet Soskis, the University of Cambridge. Professor Deen Muhammed, thank you so much for your eloquent and scholarly and very personal paper. It was fascinating, your discussion of the Sri Lankan situation. You didn't make it explicit, but are you implying that you see the secularization, the modernity in the TV screens and the cafes that you found when you returned to Sri Lanka, and the Puritanism as both motivated by the same historical moment? Are they, well, is it, they're coming at the same time? As your suggestion is, it's not an accident, they're rising up in your community at the same time?
Each one of them arrived independently. Modernity, of course, go even well before the puritanical movement started popularizing their activities in the Muslim world. They started only, although they started 200, 300 years ago, but they started popularizing their activities and trying to impose or correct the behaviors of Muslim societies only from 70s. So modernity was there before that. That is why I was insisting or stressing more on the puritanical impact more than the modern impact, because modernity was there, and of course in my society it was not visible, but it was there. It was very close to the people, and we could see that, we could live with that. But once puritanical movements penetrated the Muslim societies, immediately it changed the picture. So I think the changes that have taken place, negative or the negative aspect, results we have regarding prayer, regarding practicing religious faith, is more we can ascribe it to the puritanical movements. And modernity, when it comes there, helps people to, when they are turning away from traditional practices, modern ways of living help them to fill the gap, to fill their time, and of course, tradition and the traditional practices vanishes as a result. I think the puritanical movements are more responsible than the modernity itself. Because modernity has a philosophy, and you can discuss with it, and you can talk to it, and you can clearly, and modernity is ready to listen to you and also sympathize with you. But the puritanical movements are not like that. That is one of the very important things that we shouldn't miss. They are not ready to listen to you, and they are not ready to discuss or negotiate or to appreciate, or at least appreciate the diversity. So this is a problem. But modernity is not like that. In this sense, modernity may be a mercy than when compared to puritanical movements in my understanding.
John Holdsworth, an Anglican priest in the Diocese of Cyprus and the Gulf, picking up from the bishop noted Philip Sheldrake's one subversive element in prayer, if you like, as contemporary Old Testament scholarship would certainly see it in terms of books like Job, Lamentations, Psalms, being able to rage honestly before God. But I want to ask a question about another kind of subversive element in what he said, which was about popular devotion and what he described as the democratization that happened in the medieval period. I wonder if, at a time when democratization is very much on the agenda in terms of biblical interpretation within the Christian community, he sees any contemporary developments in terms of democratization, and to ask Deen Muhammed whether it's appropriate at all to speak of democratization within the Muslim context at this time.
We're talking in the context of spirituality, or yeah. Well, from a Christian perspective, at least from my particular Christian perspective, one example might well be the belief that a seriously conducted spiritual journey is not the prerogative of certain spiritual elites, such as, with all due deference, the clergy, or monastic religious life, but that is actually, in Christian terms, a result of our call by God expressed through baptism, to enter into the journey of faith that ultimately leads to a union with God. And now, how's that expressed? I think one example would be the growth of spiritual guidance and of retreats that are aimed not at monastics and clergy, but at any Christian at any level. The belief that wherever they are on the spiritual journey, however they conduct it, wherever they're conducting it, this has to be taken with great seriousness.
So democratizing spirituality, yes. Democratizing politics, yes. Democratizing religion